All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott from Jeff Teaches Programming, and I've been going through and adding comments where I didn't add them to files earlier in this program, and I think there's about 5 files I want to do in this program. I want to do the CreateNewEmployeeVM.cs, EditExistingEmployeeVM.cs. The home controller, this is just the one that you're given automatically. So I'm not going to do that one. The employee controller is big, and we are going to add comments to that one. And finally, I'm going to go back and do the appsettings.json file, which I didn't do earlier. And I'm going to start with this program file. And I've added some comments in here, but I'm going to add more right now. So I'm going to start it with this. All right. So again, this is our program.cs file. So in other words, So this is the entry point for our application. We'll just leave it like that. That sounds good. All right. Now, with the Entity Framework Core, hopefully, we need that for all the database stuff we're going to do. For the PayrollASP.NET data, that provides access to payroll DB context.cs file. All right. And then we've got our services. Let's just copy this. And that provides us with access to the employee services.cs file. Okay. Then we come in and we create this builder. So we're going to create a web application builder. This will do the following: setup, configuration, and logging, which we're not doing any, using default settings, and command line arguments. That's args. All right. Now, add services to the container. That's fine. And in fact, this is a .cs file. So let's use correct comments. In fact, let's just do it like this. How's that? Rid of that. There we go. All right, so add services to the container. Here, this will be several lines long. So this will register payroll DB context with the entity framework core using SQL Server. The connection string PayrollASPDB is read from the appsettings.json file, which if we do look in here in appsettings.json, which we've got open, there it is. All right. So here, scoped means a new instance will be created once for every HTTP request and shared within that request. All right. This will build the web application using all requested services and configurations set. Okay, then we're configuring the pipeline. So we're checking to see whether this is development or not development. All right. This first line here, this will redirect all HTTP requests to HTTPS for extra security. The static files, will allow the static files, which are like CSS, JavaScript, etc., from the www root folder to be used in the application. There's more to it than that, but that's basically what it is. The use routing, this will enable routing middleware to match incoming request URLs with the associated controller methods. Okay. And finally, this will define the routing pattern. And what that means basically is, by default, if you add nothing else, the file that should come up is under home, the index file. All right, and we can add an optional ID. Finally, the last line here, this line here will start the application. So start the app and listen for incoming HTTP requests. That's it. So hopefully I've added enough comments that makes sense to people. So let's close that one and go on to the next one. So this is our appsettings.json file. So this sets up our connection string. Okay. Again, it's a JSON file, so I think we can do this. And again, this says we're using it locally on our own machine. This is the name of the database. This says we're trusting the user, so if they're just logged in Windows, that's okay. And this deals with server certificates that we really don't have to worry about. Oh, what did that do? I don't know. Local server and database name set along with regular Windows login. I don't know why it did that. Only one top level lock is allowed. So let's put this all on one line. Didn't seem, no, it seems like it's okay. Okay, so file, save all, that's that one. Let's do these first, okay? So we have here the view model files. There's not really a lot to add here. Again, this is a .cs file. So so first name and last name are the required fields for any type of employee. This is the employee type, which must be set, in other words, selected, before a new employee can be added. Again, this is the hourly employee, this is the piece worker employee, the commission employee, and the salaried employee. Okay? And we basically, what we could do in here is to come in and just copy the stuff, because the stuff in here is really similar. So in here, remember, as this is an existing employee, we must provide for an actual employee ID so that we know which employee to edit. Okay, other than that, it's the same stuff. So again, we've got first name and last name are required. Oh, also, we can add this. The question marks are added to handle null occurrences. So copy that. Add that over here as well. Okay, so again, file, save all. So that's our two view model files we've added now. And finally, what that leaves then is a pretty big thing. All right, and that is our employee controller. All right, let's see where we are time-wise. We're at 17, so I think I'm just going to have the last one, which, hey, that's actually number 200 in this series, is going to be just for the employee controller. All right, so we'll be back with that shortly.